Alright everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and yes, today we're going to do a Thoughts from the Vault video. We need to talk about something, a subject that the Xbox fanboys and some other fanboys are running with the fact that GamePass is not, in fact, cannibalizing game sales. Some of the PC eccentrics are running with this narrative, as well as the obvious typical Xbox fanboys, shills, frauds, and grifters that we're talking about, right? So we have a lot to break down and go over here, and we got some good receipts here. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, what we're going to do is, first of all, get through this video, because allergies in my voice, we'll see what happens here. But that being said, what's going on is it all kind of started with Risk It for the busted can of biscuits, coming through with a stupid-ass narrative once again that Game Pass is not hurting game sales, not cannibalizing them, and trying to twist and spin some sort of a narrative that's a W in their favor. We're going to talk about Game Pass, does it cannibalize sales, stuff like that, but let's pull up the main thing, and he's not the only one or the first one to talk about this, but this is the one that caught some traction. So the first one catching traction here is this here, 3-day instead of days, of Xbox Game Pass cannibalizing your sales. Talking about Expedition 33, how well it's doing, how it has 1 million copies sold. 1 million copies sold. So this is the narrative that they're talking about here. They think that Xbox has something to do with Expedition 33 selling 1 million copies within 3 days, right? Within 3 days, Xbox has something to do with selling Expedition 33 on multiple platforms. Let that sink in for a moment. So this is where this started, right? This is where this started. It's reposted by Risk It, not liking it, and he's basically saying you got to be kidding. As he replied to that, right? Microsoft admits, and they did, this is all real, this is not doctored or photoshopped or anything like that Game Pass cannibalizes sales. They admitted it. It's a thing. This is true. It's common sense. You don't need to be a college professor at Harvard University in order to discern what's going on here. But you have these burger flippers, no offense to burger flippers, because it takes a lot of work to do that. But the point is, these guys are sitting there trying to make something out of nothing, trying to make this fantasy a reality. These guys might as well be taking in some salts, if you know what I mean. Because seems like how they're talking and speaking about. But as you can see here, explain how, even as Microsoft, you could accurately develop stats to show this. Dude, does he not understand how stats and data and everything like that works? And you don't think a multi-billion, right, dollar company, I believe Microsoft is, if they're less, let me know, but I believe they're around there, that they can't find some sort of way to extrapolate this data? Are you kidding me? Something that's a major funnel within their industry right now, within their business, within their corporation, they're not going to pay attention to this outlet for the gaming division? Are you serious right now? And then he's on here, short answer is you can't. You heard it first from the busted can of biscuits here, you cannot do it. Not even Xbox can with access to all the data. Boy, this guy might as well run for president. He might as well run for president at this point or some sort of politician, because he's just throwing crap out there thinking it's true, and this is so beyond not true. They can get this data. Like I said, they can extrapolate this. I don't have information to the data. He doesn't have information to pull for the data. But Microsoft, especially within that division, I promise you somebody can, or I'm sure somebody with extensive knowledge of spreadsheets and everything could probably do the thing if they got the data. But, you know, he's saying they can't. It's just impossible. It would take a miracle. You would have to move mountains in order for them to try and even find a way to extrapolate this information, guys. This is absolutely insane. But good old Detective Seeds, he pops in here, and I just wanted to share this as well. As you can see at the bottom too, this is truly unbelievable, as Nicholas states, right? But again, Detective Seeds states some facts here, right? This is quite easy for Microsoft or any company to be able to do. It is Data Analytics 101. Again, doesn't take anybody with some sort of Harvard University degree to figure this out or understand it. Any company can take a product they released and analyze factors that may have impacted sales, especially when you have a subservice that does not generate actual sales. Exactly. This is something companies do every day. Exactly. I will tell you first and foremost, even the company I work for has data all over the place of data you wouldn't think you would be able to pull from and utilize. I'm blown away. I'm not part of that group. I work on a different group of stuff, but they have specialists that do this. This is not unheard of. This is not unprecedented. All right? This is something here. This feels like a salty batch files, but this really is a Thoughts from the Vault because we're going to talk about facts and the fact of setting this straight, this twisted narrative they're running with, because they can't get a W in the console sales department or that they're doing anything. They're full on third party, meaning all their games are coming to all competing platforms. And I keep getting people coming over to Mike's comment section saying, Sony's third party. Yes, we know, but they are not third party to the extent, understand, rewind if you need to hear this again, to the extent that Xbox is. PlayStation's not putting God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, Ratchet and Clank on the Xbox console or Nintendo consoles at this time. In the future, I don't know. I'm not Nostradamus. Right now, that's not happening. So they are not third party to the extent of Xbox. PlayStation is by definition third party because they do release their games on PC as well. That's a different platform. They are therefore third party, but not to the extent that Xbox is. Now, that all said and done, before I go off and further maybe explain why Game Pass does in fact cannibalize sales, let's take a quick look at a video that somebody found recently from an older podcast or whatever with Busted Can of Biscuits here. And look how much he flip-flops. One day he says one thing, and another he does another. This is why you can't believe somebody like this. This is 110% the biggest receipt I've seen in a minute. So, here you go.
Game Pass is killing sales. Dun, dun, dun.
Let's bring up that positivity.
Yeah, let's go. Woo! Look, guys, this sort of came out during the week, and I agree with it. And I'm pretty sure there's a couple of people in chat that are going to jump on me, but like 100%, it completely does tank sales. Like I couldn't.
For those who disagree with Risk It, put up some tomatoes in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way. So I'm thinking of it from my perspective as a gamer. When I have a game in Game Pass that I could play and complete, then I likely won't buy the game.
All right. So what did I tell you? That is a huge receipt straight from his mouth. Understanding that Game Pass does, in fact, from his mouth, cannibalize and chop into those sales. What are we talking about? They're trying to twist it right now to make it seem like we are saying, and we, I mean everybody else with a brain right now, a functioning brain, is out there stating, you know what? You guys are meaning that it cannibalizes sales on Nintendo, on PlayStation, on PC. No, we're saying it cannibalizes, and we've never, unless somebody doesn't know what they're talking about, and it's whoever, right? Most of us are talking about the Xbox ecosystem. As a matter of fact, it does cannibalize sales on the same ecosystem that is selling those first-party games, which is, again, Xbox, the hardware console. PC, you have some leeway. Does it cannibalize some sales still on PC? Yeah, to a point. But still, a lot of PC owners, aside from the pirating and stuff like that, they do buy games they want. It's not going to be a hit for every single game, but once in a while, when something catches fire and it's good, the PC gamers will go out and, of course, purchase that game, Game Pass or not. So, yes, you're seeing great sales from PC on Expedition 33. You're seeing fantastic sales for Expedition 33 on PlayStation as well. I would love to see the sales breakdown on Xbox because I guarantee you, even though I got some in social media saying I went out and bought it, okay, you're in the minority. I appreciate it. The devs appreciate it. I'm sure Microsoft also appreciates it. Good job. But unfortunately, you are not in the main mindset of most of the Xbox gamers in that ecosystem because you've been trained and herded in order to rent your games, to utilize Game Pass to its full extent. And again, not necessarily all y'all's fault. because that's what Microsoft wanted, is for you to sub to that service. They just didn't get enough of you to sub to that service. People have subscription fatigue right now. I'm not making this up. This is, you know what? I'm going to throw up a Matt Piscatella screen as well. Sub-services are not trending in the higher section of things. They will be sustainable for a point in time. For right now, that's going to work enough. But if you want to see major growth, you're not going to get that right now. Does that change in the future? Who knows? Depends on how that looks. Depends on how that flows with inflation. It depends on a lot of variables there on if, you know, a lot of subscription services are going to increase, but I've been stating this over and over and hitting folks over the head with a hammer, a carnival balloon hammer, right? But ultimately, I've been stating, everybody does, and this is true. I have subscription fatigue. We have subscriptions, and we're not just talking gaming, from GamePass to PS Plus to Nintendo Online to, you know, Amazon Prime to Netflix to Hulu and Peacock and Disney Plus and everything in between, guys. It doesn't stop. And then you have subscription services to Grubhub and Uber Eats, or you name it. There's a subscription service for everything out there. It's just too much. That bubble has burst. So now people have to make decisions. It's not so much housed in a small circle anymore like it was when they were starting to be new and even nuanced for a few years. This is now a thing. It's subscription fatigue, and there's just too many options out there, and people have to choose what they're subscribing to because, again, money's a thing. Is Game Pass a good value for what it offers? Absolutely. But again, that value differs from person to person. If you're playing said game more often than any other game on that subscription service and you're not utilizing the full Game Pass method, you're not getting the value you're seeing. If you're just playing Fortnite over and over and over, Apex Legends, Warzone, Marvel Rivals over and over and over, these free-to-play games where they have microtransactions anyway, you have just that Game Pass subscription sitting there. Or you pick up Oblivion, right? I just want to play it through Game Pass. Oblivion takes a lot of time if you want to play through it in its entirety, right? Oblivion Remastered, you're playing through it, probably taking you 2 to 3 months for your typical casual gamer, if not longer, and you're paying the subscription fee and you're not touching those other games. That means Game Pass is not for you, and you need to take a step back and realize, like, yeah, the value's there. They got me. Let me stop it. Let me purchase what I want. You're going to get better value in that case. You just are. And then you own the game forever, right? And yes, Game Pass does have sales. Game Pass does give you a discount after a certain amount of time on games, a little bit of a discount. However, you're still paying that yearly fee, $200 and some. If you're not utilizing it and maximizing it, that's just it. And again, long tangent to circle all the way back around. In all, guys, Game Pass does in fact, straight from the horse's mouth that we've seen here as well. And even Busted Can of Biscuits, who all of a sudden doesn't think so for some weird reason. I don't know what he's taken. Probably something not legal. It is cannibalizing sales in the Xbox ecosystem, on the hardware space especially. This is why their hardware is not selling. Their first-party games are heading elsewhere. The subscription model isn't working. People that are subscribed are not buying those games mostly. The small minority few are, but most of the time, they're not. They're utilizing the service they were told to utilize, and that's that. So in fact, it does cannibalize sales. And if we want to go a little bit further, it still cannibalizes a little bit of sales on PC, like I stated, and I'm pretty sure it does cannibalize a little bit of sales on PlayStation as well. Not to the extent of Xbox's own system, but maybe somebody that has both systems is like, yeah, I like to play on my PlayStation. I'd like to play Expedition 33 on my PlayStation, but I do have an Xbox. I am subscribed to Game Pass. I'm just going to play it there. Why not save me some money? That makes the most sense, right? Even though it's to play to completion is a pretty lengthy RPG here. They may say, hey, so there's going to be those few. So in theory, or in actuality, it does cannibalize sales a little bit, even to extending platforms. Those are the facts. End of story. Black and white. There's nothing more to say about it. What I will say at the end of this video here, though, is be careful, again, who you follow. Be careful again what's going on with this idiot Risk It here, who's challenging people to fights at PAX because they challenge his lying. He sits there and brings it up over and over and over again. He's changing his tune every other week. He's just as bad as General MLD or Colt or everybody else. They're all in that same circle. And this isn't a salty batch. It kind of is. But it's also thoughts from the vault because we're owning in specifically on this narrative. All right? So that being said, if anybody's telling you different, that it doesn't cannibalize sales or don't understand that, the PC eccentrics, the Cassies, the whoever, the Alexes, all of them, got a lot of Alex sheep coming in my comments lately crying all the time. I don't care. It is what it is. He's a grifter, a shill, fraud. I don't think you know what that means. Yes, it means you're cheating the system. You're pandering for money. Just a closing statement here. You're pandering for money. You're getting those super chats. You're pandering to your audience so they give you that money. You make them happy, you're going to get money. You're cheating them regardless of what you think, feel, and say. You're pandering. You're a grifter, you shill. You know what sells. All of a sudden the console war talk. Changed your subscriptions, changed your subs, all that stuff. But anyways, that's a side tangent. Just wanted to throw that in there in case we have any more Alex crybabies out there. But that being said, we will wrap up the video here, folks. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, definitely leave a like, comment down below. If you want more of the truth and more of this being exposed, that's what I'm here to do. Because, man, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. So that being said, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing, working towards that 3,500 sub goal. Really appreciate that. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. And until then, take care.